just slightly early. I know we said we're starting at 9:30, so a minute early. I just want to make sure that both platforms are live and do my visual checks so that everybody can see and hear. Let's move that a little bit. Okay, so the inspiration for today's session is, as you know, I am a deep tissue massage qualified, but at the moment we are not able to do it. Or at least I'm not able to do it. So I thought I would try and do a few minutes for the guys at home that have had a bit of tension, especially over this lockdown period, and to try and give a few tips on how to relax, hence the whole series on meditation. The meditation itself is, although encompassed around lots of different types of meditation, the main focus is the samurai meditation techniques and the 3 deep breathing, and focusing on visualization, positivity during that meditation, and how that in itself can lead us and generally be giving us an air of happiness in our day-to-day lives. So the first, from being hunched at the desk, most of the clients I see, normally it's on their mouse side where they spend hours sometimes. So to allow yourself the opportunity to relax, to have a good posture at work. I've got a course Swiss ball, so this is also, I twin this with my office as well, especially at the moment. So I spend some time on the core board just to give myself the ability to have that at work. It gives you all the different dimensions of where your eyes should be to help you ergonomically sit in the right position. These are all really important things. We take it for granted, but once you get this levator scapular pain set in, it becomes so tiresome on focusing on that pain and that nagging, I call it like a nudgingness, that it's hard to focus on anything, and that kind of has a negative multiplier effect throughout everything that we're doing in our day. So it needs to be released. Now, deep tissue massage has so many benefits, but one of them will just be releasing that core pain that you're having. Now, failure to get to a masseuse, or when you're at work and you don't have time to nip out, there are really simple things that we do during the full body massage or Shiatsu head massage into the scapula, into that shoulder blade. There are quite a few different types of muscle in that area, but they all can give us headaches, the stiff neckness. You see people, with that chin forward, that round hunched shoulder, all this type of so this is the C position that we have from the Japanese. Again, saints around, so our hips are higher, our hips are slightly higher as we're seated. So if you want to put a cushion underneath, this is how we would do the meditation. In regards to a couple of months ago, I had a really bad injury in my bicep and my pec here in my forearm, which is where the bicep actually joins into the lower arm. So my bicep is here, but it was hurting me here. So the fascia, which connects all these tissues and holds the structure of the bones together, was really, really taut. And I couldn't find a masseuse that I could go to. So I bought myself one of these. And that kind of gave me the inspiration to do this self-massage series to help people that just need a quick fix. It might not be 100%, but it will over time help you to release off things. So I bought this, and it was in order for me to help roll the fascia that I needed to myself, and then to roll it through and to bring it all the way down across the forearm and allow me to roll it out. So when we're talking, this is a self-help tip video for you guys at home, and it's just the basic understanding of muscle structure, You can see the muscle fibers and the way that they run, and how to try and run. So if you imagine that sometimes within these muscle fibers they lock up and they might need smoothing over to unlock those fibers. There can be liquids and other things that cause inflation, that can push on nerves, that cause the pain. But generally, especially with this levator scapula, all it really needs, I do that because it's always on my right side. Actually, the last couple of days it's been on my left side. Generally, it's my right side, which is my mouse side, my active cyst, which is this big muscle over here. But actually, it sits underneath that muscle, and it's the one that is responsible for joining this motion, actually, of lifting up my scapula, my shoulder blade. So that's why they call it levator, because it elevates that scapula there. So it's to push our shoulders back. We don't want our chins too forward, because again, that'll put pressure on these neck muscles. So it's important to keep this posture, ear over clavicle there, over there. So posture is really important. I also bought one of these, which is £5 off of Amazon. Not here to endorse any product, really, not being paid to do that. But it's a very firm ball, which is a really good size. And I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can use it. Sometimes it's difficult with your thumbs to get the pressure you need, especially when we're going to be working on ourselves. So like this, I can, without hurting my thumbs or joints, roll into the areas that I'm trying to release the fibers for. Or I can actually, and I'll show you, I can lay on top of the ball on the floor, which will allow me to give some body weight into this. And I can do the same thing if I want a little bit more control against the wall and lean into this, into certain pressure points. So really useful to have. If you don't have that, I've sometimes used a golf ball. And my kids sometimes have some hard balls. Snooker ball would be quite good, but it's not quite spongy, so it might be a little bit too hard, so you might want to coat it in a sock or something like that. But there are, anything relatively hard and round shaped. I have tried using bottles and things like that. It doesn't really work so well. So completely round, spherical, and hard, but with a little bit of soft cushioning over the top of it would suffice. Otherwise, not expensive. You can pick them up. I also use it for grip work. Not that that's what it's there for, but I do use it for grip work. And you can use it to run your feet over, to stretch out the bottom fibers of the foot. Loads of different applications. So quite a cool tool, not particularly expensive. This one, for myself, gives a little bit more guidance. So I can get into using equipment. Just wanted to talk about what you can do yourselves. Okay, so before we get into the meditational side of things, how we can start with the massage. So the bottom of the neck, the top of the neck, sorry, and the bottom of the skull, you'll see that it comes together like a V. I don't think you'll be able to see it through my hairline. So, but if you get both your hands here, thumbs pointing down towards your tailbone, down the spine, and roll your hat, so almost cupping each other at the back. So right in the center here. So you'll feel your vertebrae, your top vertebrae, coming into the base of the spine. Okay, that vertebra of the spine into the base of the skull. Okay, so now what I want you to do is just walk two fingers, so these two fingers, the ones above the thumb, walking down away towards the ear, just slowly walking them towards the ear. And you don't have to walk them any far, but if you feel at any point some pain, okay, so when you get to painful area, so when you're following it, you're following the bottom of the cranium, bottom of the skull towards the ear, and apply some pressure with these two fingers. Don't walk, just apply the pressure, the two finger pressures, just slide it out. And when you get to a point of pain, which you will do on either side, just push gently back in towards the brain itself. So back up in towards the brain, and just hold that for 6 to 10 seconds. Now, if you feel dizzy or faint at that point, at any time that, you might want to be doing this lying down. Okay, now, as you can see, to hold up here while we're sitting down can be quite intense on the biceps, on the shoulders, which is why it might be nicer to do it laying down, but I just want to talk you through this so that you have the choice. You can use your thumbs, you can hold onto the top of your head, and you can use your thumb on both sides to work your way down. It gives you a little bit more power. You can squeeze, like crush your own skull. So you can use your finger to get a little bit more power into these. But it's not about a deep massage here. It's just finding where those pain points are and just pressing on those trigger points. Now, what will happen when you press that is it will help alleviate the muscles coming in, and then holding that should release all the way down the back into the top part of the shoulder. Okay, so that's a really nice, easy exercise for you to do, and it should be relatively straightforward. Now, here I'm going to be searching for levator scapula, the common culprit. The culprit, I might try and do this completely facing the opposite direction, is going to be in this region here, which is just above the scapula. This is the shoulder blade here. And this is the one that goes from here and it goes all the way up into this. Now, this could be giving you headaches and all kinds of nasty things, but it's here. So at that pressure point there, you might want to relax one hand. If you do want to buy one of these things, I can always send you the link afterwards. Or you can, as soon as I'm rolling my hand across trapezius around the scapula here, as soon as they tell me that when I'm putting my thumb on here that it feels amazing, oh, just there, I know that it's the levator scapula that's causing them a bit of grief. And again, this could be because they're at work and they've got that bad posture, or they've rolled their shoulders, or been in front of the TV for too long and not given themselves relaxation. So at that point, when I know that they've got problem here, I take this pressure and I roll it up towards the neck in that same curvature back up, because that's the way the fibre of the muscle runs. So I'm digging in quite deeply now. I haven't done any effleurage or warmed up the area, but I'm taking this muscle here and I'm pushing it back up towards the base of the spine. And I'll take that all the way up in one motion. So again, I'm going to find that point where it's hurting here, which is levator scapula, and it's just on that shoulder blade, just above that top of the shoulder blade there. And I'm just going to keep, it's not so easy to have complete control when you're doing it on your own. So I'm just using little movements all the way up to there. Finding it again, levator scapula just above there, and just now, if I was on my own, if I was doing it on someone else, I'd be pushing it all the way through and all the way up. So around in towards the spine and then up, all the way up. I'm trying to simulate that here by myself, but even just holding that in, finding where that pain point is, and just putting a little bit of pressure, moving the pressure point around, is going to work a treat. And I do the same, never leave one side without the other. So again, trying to find levator scapula here. I'm going to swap arms so this is relaxed, so it's going to be able to find the top of the scapula easier. And again, I don't have any pain on this side whatsoever. Okay, so I can still find the pressure point there, but it's not going to hurt me. Okay, so on this side, I do have a problem with levator scapula. It has been causing me problems. So my left side, so all in here, just below trapezius, I want to be taking this back up to that spine up here. Find the problem point in levator scapula here, and quite forcefully. Now on the front side, just so you can be clear what I'm actually doing, on the front side of that levator scapula, I'm actually pulling it into myself and up. Okay, so here, just pulling it in. My right side now, I can feel a little bit of tension there. So I'm just pulling it in and up towards the back of the spine. Back into that. Okay, so along the fiber muscles there. Along the fiber muscles. Now, as we said before, we can be using this either lying down or into the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, so neither setup is for the wall. None of you can see the walls. Let me just try and do it lying down then. So get the massage ball, trigger point ball, whatever you want to call it, lying down. And again, depending on if I'm doing the first example of just rolling this ball, I can just quite gently just sit on this ball and just roll it into place. I can put some weight on it if I want some pressure. But where I was holding those 6 and 10 seconds before, I'm now just allowing that ball underneath the skull there, just to guide and just gently rolling it. I'm moving it to the other side of the vertebrae now. And I'm just underneath that skull, left and right, but really it's up and down that needs to be done because that's the direction of the fiber. And the same with levator scapula. So it's a little bit more tricky when you're on the floor because you have to maneuver it into the right position. But once you've got it on the, and again, this is slowly but surely just to get it into the right direction. At that point, I want to take it from where it's hurting me now, where I've got that knot, I'm going to just roll it up and down towards the spine. So back up in the direction of the fiber, right into that levator scapula, feel it there, got a lot of pressure, just rolling it in. And then the same the other side. Now, I've got my head up, you might want a pillow. So again, I'm going to roll until I've got that there. Oh, feel that on the levator scapula there. And then I'm going to roll it back in towards the spine, back onto the levator scapula. This muscle I'm working, I don't really want to be working my neck muscles. So just on the levator scapula there. Pressure point now, I can hold it there, 6 seconds, and then release that off. Okay, so they are a few really easy ways just to release off those pains. Coming now, you can come into the jaw, the mastic, and we can do all these things that we did on the first session and going through that full face massage to give yourself a real nice relaxation. But that in itself, just the trigger pointing around the base of the skull there and the base of scapula and the trapezius work, you can try and do it. I'm not so flexible, but with one hand over here, you can work levator scapula by yourself here. I can feel the knot here. Now, remember that the fibers of trapezius, it's quite hard to do this way, but they're going from the spine, they're fanning out like a triangle shape, but they're fanning this way. So you just want to run your fingers up towards the way they're fanning. So from the spine out towards the shoulder is one direction. And then from the scapula, it's coming from here, from the back, it's like a kite really. And then the other way is from the top of the scapula is going to go back in towards the neck. So I'm going to bring that pain, I'm going to neck here. So I'm going to follow the rest of the kite up this way. So find where it's hurting on the levator scapula. And I'm just going to roll my fingers into that muscle and push it towards the spine. As I said, it's sometimes quite difficult. And again, we always want to do both sides. So on the self massage, so here, find where it's going to be the vata scapula, which is the main culprit of here, and then I'm going to bring that into, so this one is just here. So I found that I can feel the tension there. I can feel the knot. So I'm going to put some pressure on initially, and then I'm going to drive it, push it along the fiber of the muscle. I'm going to keep pushing that all the way into the back of the neck, which is the full distance of the fiber. So as soon as I find it here, okay, this one's not the vata scapula, this is moved slightly around. This is probably more trapezius. But again, the fibers run in the same direction, so as soon as I found that, and there are lots of other, I'm going to run it towards, always towards, up that kite, back into bottom there. So look, I want to move on to the meditation now, but they are some really quick, simple ways to de-stress, help you get rid of headaches, help you get rid of, bad posture. Once you've corrected it, don't go back to sitting at your desk and crunching over. So bring your ears back, bring your shoulders in the midpoint back to level with your ears, and make sure that you've got your computer to the right height. Again, it can come from sleep. Their pillow that's just not, it's too high for them. So they're cranking their neck one way or the other. And that really upsets all these muscles. So those trigger points at the back of beneath the skull are really going to get rid of that for you. And what we've just done with the vata scapula. The face massage we did last week, but also, again, just coming into the chest. The chest is really important as well. Just across here, across pectoral, the minor here, just across the top into that shoulder. We underestimate how tense the pectorals get. So just, again, always with the muscle fibers, rolling it over into the bicep on both sides. I actually still, to this day, use this one. I'm coming across. It gives me a little bit more force because it's very difficult to do on your own, these things. Whereas this, I've got two hands to be able to apply the force. So I come from the middle of the chest, across pectoral, across the chest muscle here, get to the, let's just, not technical terms, the flabby bit here, and I go over the ridge, into the bicep. Into the bicep, and I'm trying to keep that fiber taut all the way over here. So then I go down just to hold the first nodule there. So I'm pushing it up, rolling it over, keeping the pressure on all the way through and all the way round. Okay, so bicep round. Voila. I hope that helps. I hope that allows, a little bit of tension. Some of the judo videos this week, we also did some of the foot stuff. So Shiatsu foot massage, some mobilization of the foot joints. Again, these are all things that you can do. Have the time out you need, have the meditation that you need, and do these little massages. It's good. If you can, I'm happy to do more videos on it. Let me know what you need. And if you're working in partners, I can do whatever you want. We can do some Zoom sessions, whatever. We discuss some of the breathing techniques that the samurai use to get into their meditation. We also discussed that you needed something to focus on before each meditation. And this positive visualization has the ability to influence the positive vibes and energies within your life and within the cosmos. So whether you want to talk about prayer or meditation or connecting with oneness, with obviously I'm Jewish, so we'd have a concept of God and a monotheist God that we would connect to, and it's very important to give yourself the time to connect to that higher level, that subconscious level, and be able to influence your own destiny, if you like. Now, during some of these meditations, when we're focusing on positivity, we're trying to achieve goals, we're trying to set goals in our mind which we want to achieve. So we'll look at the mind's eye of that at the start, and then we'll go into the breathing and we'll forget about it, and later on we'll forget about it. Now, it has to be said that sometimes when you're in meditation, you will feel emotions and thoughts that you might not want to feel because you weren't expecting to feel them. But if they're there, I would say dwell on them in a positive way. Understand them, question them. Why are they there? What are they doing there? Why are they still with you? Why is there baggage within? And I always say here, because you'll feel it, the gut will talk to you, because this is kind of the epicenter base level. Some of our baggage that we hold ourselves, we don't have to. The great thing about meditation is it's completely introspective. You don't have to talk to anyone about it. If you do have questions, please ask away. I've got a little bit of experience with different things, so I might be able to help, might not be able to help. But if you do feel these emotions and this harbored feelings, just dwell on them a little bit. See if you can resolve them after the meditation. Pause and write them down and discuss them with friends, family, or a professional, third-party professional. So, but don't be shocked by them. So focused, if you want to call it that I don't understand why I haven't thought about it before. But if it is there and it's been bothering me on a subconscious level, when my mind brings it to light, I'll address it. I won't let it hide again. I'll have a quick chat with it, find out, what really is going on there, and then I will let it go. Now, once I've let it go, the subconscious will diffuse it, and I don't have to deal with it again. Okay, so it's really important to address these issues if you can first time, and if you can't, then maybe I'll dedicate a second session just to that. So if I knew it was distracting me and I wasn't feeling comfortable with it, I would park it, and then I would address a specific session just for that, and I'd approach it in a different way. Like any challenge in your life, even with self, if you're aware of what's bothering you or how it's bothering you, then we can set up a strategy to completely focus on getting and alleviating what it is that's bothering us. But the most fundamental thing is finding root cause. So if I'm angry, or for whatever reason I'm angry, angry is a secondary emotion. So I need to understand where that anger's coming from. Why was I angry? Is it frustration? Is it anxiety? How can I deal with it? Can I control of it? And ultimately, it comes back to present. And I just wanted to, before I do the 3 breaths and finish the class or whatever we're doing here, I just want to say that really simplistically, and you can hopefully use this, is that when God created us, he put our eyes in front of our face. He didn't have to. It sounds silly, but probably most people haven't really thought about it. Why are our eyes here? Many reasons that we have covered listed why at the top of our head, but when I'm not going into that, I just want to say really simplistically that our eyes are facing forwards. Yes, our head turns and we can look behind us. Yeah, so it is good to reflect. It is good to understand in hindsight what happened and understand why and do that. But really, our eyes are forward and we have to focus forward. So a lot so ridiculous, but that's what some people are doing when they're beating themselves up about things that happened in the past. I'm going to learn from those mistakes and I'm not going to repeat them. I'm going to grow from them because I'm not going to be defeated by them. But I'm going to use them to catalyst myself forwards. And that's the most important thing. And that's why my eyes in front of me and they're facing forwards. So always remember to focus on the present. And what the meditation that we start with the samurai meditation now is really we ground ourselves in the present. And we do that by either looking into a flame, into listening to music, smelling some senses, whether it be the burning candle in the background, which is a mint flavor, and we draw into the present. And then the breathing, the circular breathing helps us draw into the present. And we keep rotating this. Really solid grounding. And that's the same point. If someone's having some type of anxiety attack, which is a really kind of extreme control right here, right now, is everything okay? And now we bring things back. It's very interesting that the Oral Torah teaches us that you're not allowed to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come, but it's never, generally it's never as bad as you really think it's going to be, but however you want to call it, whatever management style or whatever books you're reading, that will try and make it so crazy and the effect's going to be so bad. And maybe when you were at school, I don't know if you ever thought this, or you did something wrong and you were worried that your parents were going to ground you or take away your TV, or your headmaster was going to find out and expel you, and actually the ramifications of this part of our brain exploded. But really, it was never really that bad, if anything was ever going to go on at all. So the authority is that you can't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. So in fact, so much so that saying that we have to just focus on living in the present, understanding that everything will pass, everything, like we said at the start, the toughest situations that you get yourselves into, we can defeat them, we can overcome them, but we have to be mindful to bring it into the present, to really focus in. We can't let this non-logical side of our brain completely explode our emotions all over the place. And that's why what we're going to do now is these 3 simple breaths that will bring you back into focus, into reality, where you can control your own destiny. So again, we're going to start the meditation now, literally 3-4 minutes, and then I'm going to turn off. And I'm going to do another session after this. I want to get in contact with the cosmos, and I want a few things I'm focusing on, a few business things I'm focusing on that I really want to come to fruition. So even if it was a judo competition, when I got my black belt, before my fight, I shut my eyes. I call it the quiet before the storm. I shut my eyes. I got into my warrior state, if you want to call it that, and I visualized winning the fight. I didn't necessarily visualize the throw that I was going to win with, although I did have a couple of inklings. But that was more due to the fact that I'd watched the fighters before that I was fighting. But that was kind of fighting intelligence. But I really knew that I was going to win because I'd seen it in my mindset. I was going to win. So having this visualization before I did the activity, I believe, was one of the main reasons that it turned out the way that it was meant to turn out and the way that I wanted it to turn out. So business decision, business function, whatever it happens to be, tomorrow with the kids, how you have to create the environment you want, and that starts with visualizing it the way that you want it to be. You're in control of your destiny in this particular case. So just having a think about where I want to be. I do this for a week, I do this for a 2 week, sometimes I do it on the day in the morning and vice versa. So, and really it means that the first thing tomorrow morning I'm on it because I've already got this clear roadmap that I've set myself in my meditation. And if I need to, I'll re-meditate on it the next day, or I'll write it down and I'll have that road path and I'll just tick the things off as I do them. Okay, so we're doing the 3 deep breaths now. And for those that have just joined us for the first time, we've got big ball, little ball. So big ball is the stomach area, the one area, the energy center, and little ball is going to be the chest. Really, there is no 2 separations, and obviously you breathe into your lungs. But what we're doing is we're expanding the diaphragm. So the big ball that we're focusing on, breath first. We do that by focusing on breathing out the chest. We just think to ourselves, breathe out the chest. But we push a little bit more on our stomach to force those. I've done that now. Don't need to worry about it. The subconscious will take those energies and will manifest that for us. What we do now is we simply go into our 3 breaths. And then after the 3 breaths, I might do 3 or 4. I go up to normally 5 breaths in total, but they won't be as deep. I'll start to relax it. So this really gets me into the mindset of understanding where I am, and then I tail it off into a relaxed breath. I'm not listening to any music. I would normally, but because I'm with you guys, I wanted to talk to you and have you as focus, because last time I got distracted by the crickets and frogs and bats and all the other things that were making noises in the background. Okay, guys, so I'm breathing in all that. So I'm breathing in again. I'm making an R sound, not like a growl sound. It doesn't really make it. You have to make a comfortable sound, one that works for you. So this time, really deep into the stomach. Okay, guys, look, it takes a lot of time to get used to that cyclical breathing. It does take some time and take some good practice, but you'll have one of these, but just anything just to make sure that your hips are going to be above, your hips are higher. Yeah, so just make sure that you've got this position so it's nice, the energy flows this way. Yeah, and thank you very much for joining me. I hope it's helped. If you've got any specific questions, either Instagram me or leave me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Many thanks.